What is up, guys? Doomwake here. Welcome back to another modern video on the channel. As always, before we continue, you know what I'm going to say. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button, drop a like, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video, and if you would be so kind, please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. Appreciate all of the new subscribers. It's been a ton of fun over the past couple of months. I know the channel has grown a lot, and I really do thank you very much for all of that. Much appreciated. So we're going to go back to some Rhinos here, as you can see. So I know I don't like to do a ton of Rhinos content because I play a lot of this deck on the live on the Twitch stream. But you know, I went back in the YouTube archives and I realized I hadn't done a video of this in about a month. So I figured it was about time to give you guys an update as to where I am currently at with the Temur Rhinos deck, because I do believe that this is the best deck in Modern right now. The past two weekends, the past two Saturdays, the weekly Magic Online Saturday Challenge, I've top-aided back-to-back weekends with this deck list. A little bit of a different deck list from each weekend, but yeah, I really do think that this is the best deck, and it's just really good. You know, it's just really consistent, really good at what it does. Again, I've spent I've done a few Rhinos videos, so I won't spend too much time here, but what I will go over is the main differences. So, if you've seen a Temur Cascade or Temur Crashcade, I guess we'll call it, deck list, I'm sure that you've seen copies of Bonecrusher Giant in the past. So the innovation here is I've decided to replace Bonecrusher Giant with Seasoned Pyromancer. Now, I have not been the biggest fan of Bonecrusher Giant. I think for what it does, as far as a 2-mana removal spell, it doesn't kill a lot of things. It doesn't kill a Dragon's Rage Channeler that's already turned on. If you're on the draw against Ragavan, it's not that great, because they've already hit you twice with the Ragavan, and you know, you're already starting to fall behind, and your 2-mana removal spell takes up your entire turn. So it's just, as far as a removal spell, I'm just not a huge fan of it. And on top of the fact that you already have a good amount of removal in your deck. You have Prismari Command, you have Fire Ice, you have Fury, you have Dead Gone, you have Brazen Barber. You don't necessarily need to play more mediocre removal spells. And the one thing that I found with this deck is it's a little prone to either sometimes drawing the wrong half of its deck or flooding out. You don't have a ton of flood insurance. I mean, you have Prismari Command, but Seasoned Pyromancer not only allows you to discard cards that might be useless in certain matchups, like there's matchups where Force Negation isn't great, there's matchups where Fury isn't great, and then also it allows you to sort of get additional flood insurance, where if you draw too many lands, you can just replace two of them with two fresh cards from Pyromancer. It is really good against the control decks because it's a piece of cardboard that puts pressure in play. It puts the same amount of pressure in play. If you discard two spells, it puts 4 power in play. And it also gives you some value post-Wrath. It's really good in the mirror matches because the way that the Crashcade mirror match plays out is you both trade a lot of resources. You're both, you know, you cast a Cascade spell, they cast a Cascade spell, you attack with 2 4/4s, they trade. So it's a resource battle. And you end up infrequently in spots where you're both empty-handed in top deck wars, and drawing a 3-mana 2/2 that draws 2 cards in a top deck war, you can imagine is pretty good. And against the Lurrus decks, it is sort of similar, you know, just they're all about resource denial. Pyromancer is very good in a resource battle. So I think that the way that Modern is shifting towards Seasoned Pyromancer is a really good addition to this deck, and I was really excited when I played it yesterday in the challenge. The rest of the deck, pretty much the same. We got as far as the numbers are concerned, 1 Gemstone Caverns, not a fan of the second one, drawing 2 copies. It is legendary land. The first copy, when you're on the play, the first copy isn't even that good to begin with, so it's really only good when you're on the draw and you draw exactly 1 copy. For that reason, I only want 1 copy because there's just too many situations where it's bad. 23 total lands. I have been considering going up to 24, but for now, I think 23 is about where I want to be. That could change moving forward, though. It's really kind of, you know, how risk-adverse do you want to be? And then the Ketria Triumph, don't play tap lands in this deck. Your mana's just fine. You don't need a tap land. And then 3 Prismari Command. We've had 4 in the past, but Hammer's been on the downtick recently, so we're deciding to only go with 3. I'm still a fan of the 1 Murktide Region. I think the first copy of the Delve card is pretty close to free, and I would always play I would always play the first copy. You don't want more than 1, but I think 1's pretty good. And then we've moved the second copy of the Dead Gone to the main deck, to account for the fact that we've cut Bonecrusher Giant, so we want a little bit more cheap interaction in the main deck. Sideboard is the basically the exact same. I wasn't super high on Endurance before, but with the uptick in Living End's been all over the weekend challenges, and I'm even considering, somebody in my Discord suggested Leyline of the Void over Endurance, and I actually think that might be something that I want to try moving forward, because Leyline is also still really good against Blue-Red because it shuts off their ability to cast Murktide Regent, shuts off Channeler, and is just lights out against Living End. So that might be something worth considering moving forward, but 4 Disputes for the Control matchup, 4 Force for the Hammer Time matchup, 3 Blood Moon for Tron, 3 Endurance for Living End, and Murktide, and then 1 copy of Clovis, which is insane in the mirror and insane against the Lurrus decks. So, again, that is the deck list. If you want some more information, if you want a detailed sideboard guide, I do have a sideboard guide available in the Discord, which I will drop a link for in the description below, so be sure to check that out. Without further ado, let's get into some games. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. Alright, everybody, back here for round number 1. As good as Pyromancer is, I'm not going to keep a 5-land Pyromancer Rhinos hand. Okay, this hand is significantly better. We are missing double red. So what I think I'm going to do is keep Bottom of Footfalls, because I'd rather have that in my deck. Just access to more of them if the game goes longer. And then I'm going to go Caverns, Exile. Honestly, I kind of want to just exile a land, because I have to draw land number 3 anyways to be able to cast spells, and I kind of want to just keep a higher density of spells in hand. So it's Bottom Footfalls, Caverns, Exile Island. If they play a 1-mana creature, I can kill it on turn 1, which is kind of cool just to use my mana. Although, not that I really have any 2-drops to play, but I could draw Fire Ice or something like that. Alright, seems like they might have a 1-drop. Perhaps a Ragavan. Experiment 1. Alright, we'll kill it. Killing it now in case I draw Fire Ice so I can Ice Upkeep and cycle through my cards. I assume Fury is pretty good against the deck that has Experiment 1. Okay, second copy is not the best. However, if they, let's say, play 2 creatures, we can go Fury, Exile, Fury, and then if I draw a red source, I can just slam Pyromancer, just get immediate value. So it's like I'm recouping all the cards that I lost from Fury. Get a clean 2-for-2 on Fury, and then up 2 cards on the Pyromancer, which is pretty good. Let's see what they got. Red green, Territorial Kabu. Okay. So red source would be probably my best draw. Second copy of Seasoned Pyromancer, huh? So I think they're playing. There was this like red green, this Territorial Kavu Tribal Flames Bushwhacker Zoo deck from a top 8 of a recent tournament that we might actually be doing a video with at some point, but that's what they're playing. Basically what I'm getting at is they don't have Goblet Shrine in their deck, so they can't play 1 land to get this to a 5/5. So I don't actually have to cast Fury here. I could just take a hit, and then hopefully they maybe either don't have a land, or I guess it's likely they can make this a 4/4, but they're not doing it pre-combat. Basically, what I'm getting at is I don't mind paying 3 life to get the opportunity to get another 1 toughness creature off of this Fury. I'll take 1 hit from this, because worst case scenario, they play a land, and then I just deal 4 to it next turn. So I'm willing to take 3 or 4 damage to give me the opportunity to kill a second creature, which seems like they don't have another X1. Or maybe they do. No, another Kavu. Okay. This is not the best spot to be in. Okay, we drew a red source. So now what's our plan? I could double Fury, kill these 2. Or I could go Fury, pitch Fury, kill this, play Pyromancer, discard Pyromancer, have a 2/2 and a 1/1 versus these 2. If they play a white land, I can double block Nikat, I'll take 4, hopefully find a Cascade spell, So fetch shock to 14, take 4, go to 10. Next turn, Cascade Rhinos versus this. Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's just go fetch for a Steam Vents. Untapped. Fury, pitch Fury. And I'm pitching the Fury because I'd rather have the second Pyromancer in the graveyard if the game goes that long, and I'm able to... I guess I'm going to do 3-1 just in case I draw, like, another Fury and a red card. Oh, I guess I could have just double Fury to kill their board, but then I have nothing left. Not sure if that was better or worse. Because I could have went Fury, Fury, go 3-1, and then 2-2. But then I would have nothing, and they still have one card in hand. It's close. Okay, Force of Negation not the best against them. Yeah, maybe that was better. So we're both empty board, but they have one card, I have none. We both have 3 mana. Is that a better spot to be in? Maybe? So now they get to exile the Seasoned Pyromancer. And they have a white land, so I can't double block the Kavu. Choosing to exile a land. I'm not sure why they would do that. Alright, so we'll do double block here. They're going to fetch a white land. We'll trade here, go to 10. We still have to draw a Cascade spell either way. Yeah, that might have been better. Might have been better off if I just went empty-handed and just killed their whole board. And then we're just both playing off the top. Alright, so we'll go to damage. I go to 10. Okay. Let's see what their last card is. Maybe just a burn spell. Is it a third Kavu? Tribal Flames me for 4. I think I just let that go and then ice this. Even though my force doesn't have many other targets. I need to cycle through and try and find a Cascade spell. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm still going to ice this on before they go to combat. Nice thing about icing it too is I can, like, if I just hit a couple ices, I can eventually get to a point where I start flashing back these, or exiling these from my graveyard, before they can Kavu them. Because I'm still kind of surprised they didn't Kavu one last turn. And we still have Force up if they draw another Tribal Flames, because I probably don't want to go to 2. Probably don't want to go to 2. Alright, they just pass. Still have not drawn a Cascade spell, which is not best. So now I can bounce this before we go to combat, and then I can maybe start Pyromancering next turn. Yeah, seems fine to me. So let's go Petty Theft this. And then I'm going to end of turn fetch. So I'm going to end up going to 4, which means I will lose if they draw another Tribal Flames, but start getting some blockers. So they're going to replay the Kavu. They didn't draw a creature last turn, so that's good to know. Alright, they have a Kavu. And they draw a creature this turn. Alright, end step. Fetch to 5. Stomping Ground tapped. We'll go pass. That was actually not bad. Because I'm going to make a bunch of blockers. And now I can force if they have a Tribal Flames. Because I'm going to go to 4, which means Bolt only puts me to 1. So I can let a Bolt resolve. And I think I'd much rather just start Pyromancering than bounce this. So they're looting, which makes sense. Yeah, this game probably would have been a lot different if I had just killed both of their things. But I thought my play was fine. It was close. It's a really close play. Like, obviously, there are merits to killing killing all their creatures, but then we're both empty-handed. You know, I have nothing left. At least the Pyromancer And the other issue with that line is I would have had to exile both Pyromancers, which means I had no chance of getting them back from the graveyard. So that was another problem with that line that I wasn't a huge fan of. And I think, like, if you take that same position, and, like, what if I just draw a Cascade spell off of the Seasoned Pyromancer? I'm just in a commanding position at that point, you know? So I gave myself a lot of looks at trying to find a Cascade spell. I think that's why I like the other line more. The line that I took. They have another Kavu. So we still are looking for that Cascade spell. Alright, I'm just going to go to 1. I'm not going to force a Bolt. I'll force a Tribal Flames, but I'm not going to force a spell that isn't lethal. Problem is now they just get to start looting for a bunch of burn spells. And we only have 1 covered, so I have to imagine they'll be able to find lethal burn before we can find enough to push through an attack. Just going to do the same thing as last turn, let them attack, use all my mana. I mean, they're just going to loot, right? This card's really good. No, they're exiling the Pyromancer. So we can let the loot resolve first. You probably should have stacked this one first. I don't think it matters, but... in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it matters. Alright, I will declare blocks. Damage happens. Cascade spell. Not a Cascade spell. We're actually just dead, right? Eh, not technically. I can bounce 1, chump 1. Alright. Alright, your turn. Not technically dead. Just basically dead. I guess I could also just bounce both. But if I bounce both, then I'm shields down on pitch cast force. So I probably shouldn't do that. Bounce before combat so they can't get another loot off of. Jump block here, play a borrower, let pitch cast force. I mean, this game's not over yet. You could still draw a Cascade spell. I mean, the problem is they have 4 cards in their hand, right? Right? Can't force that. Force of Negation, not very good in this matchup. 2/3 Death Touch. Alrighty. Display Borrower. Untap. And, alright. Well, we never drew a Cascade spell, so it's going to be a lot harder when that happens. As far as sideboarding is concerned, I think Force of Negation is quite bad. Blood Moon looks really good, because they have Territorial Kavu and Wild Mecatl, and I don't think they have that many basics. And I think Clothis is pretty good. I wonder if I want Endurance. I don't think I do. Endurance doesn't really match up that well against Territorial Kavu, so kind of think it's not where I want to be. So let's just do this. Alright, game number 2. We're on the play. Hopefully we can find some Rhinos this game. Well, we have basic, Mountain, or yeah, so we have all 3 basics, a removal spell, a Fury, and a Blood Moon. Let me keep it. You can also Fury pitch the second Blood Moon, which is pretty cool. So, let's play a Scalding Tarn. Ideally, I don't want to fetch yet, because I don't want them to... I want to conceal the fact that I have Blood Moon. I want them to try and not play around it. Okay, well, they're doing nothing, so I will also do nothing. Shardless Agent, pretty good draw. Alright, we're gonna fetch, probably get a shock land. They probably should assume that I boarded in Blood Moon, right? Alright, let's see if they have a sideboard card like a Chalice or a Void Mirror or something along those lines. I mean, hopefully they just don't. They just get the Slime Shardless Agent, but... Okay. Untap. Let's go. Basic Island, Basic Forest, and play Shardless. Island, Forest. Kind of giving away the fact that I have Blood Moon, but what are they supposed to do about it? They only have so many basics. I think the list that I saw only had one basic forest and one basic mountain. So Blood Moon is really, really good against them. It really cuts off a lot of what they have access to. Alright. Seems like they have a 3-mana play. This could be a Tribal Flames and a Rhino, perhaps? If they do that, that's fine. I'll just let that happen and then go just play Blood Moon. Burning Tree Emissary. Okay. Make red-green. Territorial Kavu is a 4/4. Okay. Our turn. Let's just go Fury, exile a Blood Moon. Actually, what if I just cast a Blood Moon? No, I kind of want to play more Rhinos. Let's go Fury, pitch Blood Moon so I can kill the Kavu. Maybe... This might be a worse play. Actually, what if I just go 2 and 2 and then cast Blood Moon? Might just be better, right? 2 and 2 and then play Blood Moon, just to shut them off of casting more spells. Yeah, I like that better. So this will be a 2/2 with 2 damage marked on it. I'm not overextending into a potential engineered explosives. I don't know if they have that card in their deck, but it's a card they certainly could have. They're off it. Game number 3. I think I sideboarded correctly, so let's just go. Alrighty, YouTube, back here for game number 3. So we got a bounce spell, so we can bounce, kind of tempo them out on turn 2, and then maybe just go Shardless into Shardless. I think Sands may be borderline, because it doesn't have any, like, interaction against their really aggressive draws, with the exception of a turn 2 Borrower. But, like, if they say, let's go, like, 1-drop into Kavu on 2, I could just bounce the Kavu and then get a good tempo swing that way. Okay, Pyromancer's not too bad. I'm going to fetch a Steam Vents here, because I already have a basic forest and a basic island, so I can just get 2... Actually, I should have got Steam Vents off this, so this can get basic mountain, if I wanted to take less damage. Yeah. Although I'm likely just casting Shardless on 3 anyways, but... Alright, let's see what they got. Nothing pre-combat, huh? I like that. I will happily take 1 damage. What's this? Tarka's Command. Okay. I'm totally fine with that. Let's get a Steam Vents tapped. I mean, I guess we might just get burned out this game, but... play a forest so I can hold a Borrower. And then if they, let's say, maybe they just go, like, attack for 1, play a Chalice or a Void Mirror, I mean, just bounce it on tap, play Shardless, and should be pretty good there. Yeah, it seems like that's what they're going to do. They either kept a hand with a lot of burn, or a sideboard card that they're going to play this turn. Sneaky feeling they're going to cast Void Mirror this turn. which we have the Borrower for, so that doesn't matter too much. Tribal Flames me for 4. Alright, well, I guess I'll go to 9. I want to use my mana here, so I'm just going to Petty Theft this. I guess I'm at 9. Then we make 10 power. And I guess hope we just don't get burned out. Could get burned out. I don't want to get burned out. Certainly could happen. They just have, like, a Blood Crypt and 2 more Tribal Flames. I mean, yeah, that's 10 damage. I don't have to take any more damage the rest of the game, though. Play all my spells. So. And I can't imagine they're going to be able to set up any sort of meaningful attack. So they're likely going to have to burn me out at this point. Which, you know, they could do. So this is 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage. Which cuts the fetch land off, so I'm just going to play Outburst, I think. Maybe they block. Alright, let's play Outburst, put them to 1. What's this? Red, red. Red, red. Cast Crashing Footfalls. What am I missing here? Red, red. Double Bolt, maybe? I don't know. Okay, Doomwake wins the match, I guess. I guess they didn't have any outs. Cool. That was round number 1 against Tribal Zoo. A little bit of a different flavor of Tribal Zoo. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 2. Alrighty, YouTube, round number 2 time. We got a 1-lander, just a basic mountain. We're going to go ahead and ship this. And... this hand is really, really mediocre. I kind of want to keep this and suspend Footfalls on 1. Just put back Force of Negation. Keep both removal spells in case they're playing with creatures, because I don't have a second blue card for the Force anyways. I mean, obviously this hand is like, you know, if they're not playing creatures, this hand is atrocious, but... yeah, I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. Again, not that Force of Negation is very good in my opening hand, but I don't have a second blue card, but... Double Dead Gone against Flooded Strand is not where you want to be. Matchup's already kind of tough. And drawing 2 blanks means we're probably dead. Probably not going to win this one. Chalice on 0, huh? Yeah, this matchup is tough. And a Spreading Seas. Yeah, the main deck Chalice control decks are kind of tough. Alright, your turn. Not really sure what we're looking for here. I mean, I guess ideally we draw a Pyromancer. And it somehow resolves, even though it's probably not going to resolve. But that's kind of what we're looking for. Pyromancer, those kind of cards. Another Spreading Seas, huh? This is the Blue-White Ponza deck. Blue-White Ponza. Okay, well, I guess... what's this on? This is on 2. Alright, let's just go Upkeep Ice You. Because they are missing land drops, so... you never know. Maybe we find a Borrower, can go, like, maybe instead bounce the Chalice. The turn we're about to resolve this. You never know. Well, there's the Borrower. And they're missing land drops again, so... got outs. I think I'm not going to crack the fetch yet. So the Footfalls goes to 1. I guess that's kind of tough because they're just going to untap and counter the Borrower, right? And if I cast it now, I can't cast the Cascade spell after it. So, we just kind of got to hope that they get aggressive and just kind of tap mana in their main phase for no reason. It's probably not going to happen, though. Yeah, they're just going to pass. Maybe they decide to play a spell here. I guess if they have Teferi, it's also bad, right? They play Teferi, I respond, bounce Chalice, but I still can't play a Cascade spell. So it's kind of bad either way. Man. So my options are Petty Theft the Chalice in response, let Teferi resolve, still can't cast Footfalls because of the Teferi. I could cast Brazen Borrower in response. And then if they minus Tef, I mean, they're just going to plus, right? It's probably my only way out of this, though, right? Is just go cast Brazen Borrower in response and just kind of like hope they mess up. Yeah, I don't think I really have a good line either way, so. Wish I had that Force. Again, had I known they were playing Blue Eye Control, I probably would have kept the Force over the second Dead Gun, but we didn't know what they were playing. So I assume they just plus here. Because bouncing gives me outs. Because if they bounce this and I find a land, yeah. I guess it wouldn't matter either way, right? They bounce, I find a land, and yeah, it wouldn't matter. Okay. So let's just attack Teferi for 2 and play a 2/2. Hope it's somehow good enough. I will not cast that. I have a 3/1 and a 2/2. What you got? Plus Tef. Sure. Basically, at this point, I have to assume that they have Stone Cold nothing, because can't really beat much anyways. I have to assume this is dying. Shark Typhoon. I guess I could have attacked both at Teferi, but I think I'm in that spot where I just kind of have to hope they have nothing. Alright. I don't know how many more turns I'm going to play this game, but I don't want to bore the YouTube watchers. Attack Teferi for 2. Your turn. I don't know. I just don't want to waste time. So let's bring in Dispute. And let's bring in Endurance and Clothis. Cut Fury, cut Dead Gone. And I think I wasn't bringing in Endurance before. You can trim a land on the play, especially the Caverns in the play is not very good. I think I'm going to cut the 3rd Endurance. Let's go with this. YouTube, back here for game number 2. Let's see if we can do a little bit better than the previous game. Okay, this hand plays. We are missing land number 3, but we do have a pretty good setup here. We can go ice their first land. Potentially have Dispute up for Teferi. We can we choose to hold up our mana on turn 3 if we want. We can go for a Shardless. See what they do. Alright, I kind of assume they're not going to crack their fetch lane to play around Fire Ice. Yeah. Good play. Good play. Now I can't cast anything. I mean, I could cycle my Fire Ice on my own land, but I don't think that's really good. I'm just going to try and draw a land here, which we did, so that's good. And I'm just going to pass. Depending on what they do, I might just cast a Borrower here, honestly. Kind of down to just cast a Borrower. Hall of Storm Giants. Yeah, let's play a Borrower. I'm down with it. Re-1, what you got? Good Outburst there, but I would kind of want to try. I kind of want to wait to draw a land first, so I can go Outburst plus Hold Up Dispute to fight over a counter, then untap Shardless. And I think this is like the card that I care the least about. So that's why I'm choosing to run it out here. And it puts some pressure on them, like they have to answer it eventually. Now I'll just attack player on land and pass. Pretty far ahead here. We've initiated the action. We have a whole bunch of good stuff in our hand. They got nothing going on. It's one of these spots where, like, you want to get yourself into a position in this matchup where they have to play into your stuff. And that's why I like leading on, you know, the Borrower cards. Because, like, it allows you to pressure them while just accumulating resources. Like, here I think I'm still going to cast the Outburst. I might not even fight over it, to be honest with you. Maybe I will, because it represents so much damage. But if they have Flusterstorm this, I just, like, kind of don't even really care that much. Dovin's Veto. Yeah, sure. Whatever. That's fine. Don't really care. Sack for 3. I could commit Shardless, but it's pretty bad if they have Verdict. I wanted to see if I could draw land so I could go Shardless, hold up Ice. As is, I am just going to pass right now. I'm not going to Ice them. Not yet. I want to save Ice for a turn that I'm potentially, like, the turn that I cast Shardless. See if they still choose to do nothing. Looks like they do. I will... Could cycle Ice here. I'll just do nothing. Attack for 3. Your turn. Ooh, are they going to act here? They might act. So this is the turn they do something. This is maybe a Shark Typhoon for 3? Which I guess is okay, because then I can just Shardless. Oh, I guess they would just Shark for 1. Yeah, sure. So, I could Prismari Command, kill the Shark, make a treasure. They counterspell, I dispute. But then... No, I think that's worse. I think I'm going to let this trade happen. And then I'm going to Shardless dispute their counterspell when they go to fight over the Rhinos. Yeah, I'm just going to let this happen. Alright, dispute their counterspell. Alright, your turn. So now they could have Verdict, obviously. We're basically forcing it, you know? And if they have Verdict, we can still just go something like Murktide, Hold Up, Fire Ice, or if we draw, you know, a green source, Murktide, Hold Up, Endurance, which is pretty good. So. Chalice on 0, sure. And this has to be Verdict, right? Sure. And they have 3 mana available. So I can go... They definitely don't have Verdict. So what if I ice the Rhino, attack for 6? I think they have to fight over the ice. So let's ice the Rhino. I'm pretty certain they're going to fight, and then they fight. We take the trade and then slam Murktide because they didn't have Verdict last turn. They 100% would have cast Verdict. I don't think they can afford to block the Shardless. I think I'm okay if they do. Sure, this is fine. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here's a Murktide. Your turn. They only have 2 cards. They didn't have Verdict last turn. We have 2 lethal threats. If we find a Fire Ice or a Borrower, we can just get rid of the Rhino and attack with both. That should be lethal. They're at 4, which means we have 2 damage in our hand. That's kind of why I didn't really care if they blocked the Shardless. Like, I'm just okay with that. Draw 2. So, Verdict or Bust. Let's see if they found the Verdict. Seems like they didn't. So, let's go to attacks. See what they got. Looks they gotta have Solitude. What's this? Shark for 2? I'm just gonna kill the shark. So 2 damage, make a treasure. 2 damage to the shark, make a treasure. That should be lethal. Guess unless they find Solitude. Trade here, Solitude, the Murktide. Alright, cool. Game number 3. So Cavern's probably back in on the draw. I'm not really a big fan of Endurance. I mean, it is a flash creature. It's like, what else is bad against them? I don't really have that many bad cards. Once I've cut the Furies and the Dead Guns, everything else is just fine. I'm going to do this. You could argue that maybe Endurance is better than Murktide, because it's one of those things where, like, just playing the flash game is good against them. Like, you're not trying to commit a ton into their spells. You want to be the one initiating. You want to be, like, the one getting under their counterspells to force them to act when they don't want to. This hand looks weird, but I'm actually going to keep it. It's really good as long as they don't have exactly Chalice. This hand's really good against Tef because I get to go Suspend Rhino into Suspend Rhino, Dispute your Tef. So. Alright, they went to 6. Let's just get a Breeding Pool, I think. Okay, do that. Pass the turn. Auto yield to that. Not bad. As long as they don't have... What's this? Shark for 0? Sure. Yeah, as long as they don't have Chalice, this game should be pretty good. Okay. No Teferi. Or they just don't want to jam Teferi, but also fine. Could jam a Shardless here. It's really bad if they have Teferi though. I think I'm just gonna keep passing. Next turn, I might play a 3-drop and hold up Dispute. We'll see what happens. Missed the gate. Okay. Let's get a Stomping Ground. Alright, so we got a Rhino on 2 and a Rhino on 1. Let's play a Misty, and we have to decide if we want to cast a spell here. I don't think I do. I think I'm just going to keep waiting. Alright, them not having Chalice here is really good for us. Let's thin our deck a little bit. Again, don't really want to draw lands. Let's cast the Crashing Footfalls, see if they fight over it. They might not. I don't really care if they fight over this, because I got 2 more. I got 1 next turn and then a Shardless here. So I don't really care if they fight over this. I have no intention of fighting back. Even if they charmed this, I still think I wouldn't fight back. Yeah, sure. It's fine. Now I can even shardless with... Oh. It's not the best if they kept in Prismatic Ending, because I can go Clothis with double Dispute up. But then they might just have Prismatic Ending. Okay, this might actually be a turn where I want to cast Shardless, for a couple reasons. One, if I play Clothis and they just have Teferi, they can go Teferi, like, if I fight over Clothis, they go land Teferi, bounce Clothis, counter this. So I want to make sure that I, like, try and pick a fight over... I guess I don't know why I fetched, but... Basically, I want to try and pick a fight over, over this stuff, and before the Clothis. That's kind of what I was getting at. This one I might fight over. Maybe. Although I wouldn't mind double disputing at Teferi. Especially double dispute Teferi, cast Footfalls, attack, play Clothis. Like, it's pretty good. Blue, blue, white. Mystical dispute the Footfalls. Okay, so... I think fighting over this is good because they could have Verdict, which I can't fight over. So, worst case scenario, I like... They don't Verdict this turn because they know this is coming off Suspend, right? So they just take 10, then they Verdict the next turn at 10, then I can just go Clothis Pyromancer, and that turn is probably too much for them to overcome. It's just like, you know, you just gotta figure out when to pick your spots. It's really hard to, like, you know, necessarily explain, and hopefully I'm doing a good job of showcasing it to you, but, like, it's just a matchup where you just gotta pick your spots, you know? You gotta figure out... You can usually tell what your opponent has based on some of the plays they make. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. Again, they have to Verdict. I can just go end step Borrower, untap, slam Clothis with Dispute up. That should be good enough. Alright, so they cast Verdict. It's fine. Not overly concerned with that. Because we go end step this, put them to 7, play Clothis, have Dispute up. Sure. Cast Borrower. If they dispute, I'll fight over it. If not, it's fine. Just do this. Ooh. Now I could even go Murktide Clothis, which is especially insane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because this means that even if they have a second Wrath, I still get to keep Clothis in hand. So it's just, like, way too much for them to overcome. Because they're forced to Wrath, which means they don't get to interact with Clothis this turn. Because Wrath is their entire turn. So, yeah. I guess I didn't need to play the Murktide, but... I'll target... Counterspell, I guess. Let's just go Pyromancer, I guess. Pass the turn. Just gonna upkeep Ice them. No, I'm gonna keep the Fire. I might want to fire them. They need a lot to get out of this. They also need a red source to be able to end in Clothis, which they don't currently have. So... they're in a bad spot. See, this matchup is a lot easier when you don't draw a bunch of Dead Gons and Furies. When you get to the post-board games, you get to board out all of your bad cards. I don't know, maybe this matchup is... every time I play this matchup, it's like... I feel like game 1, I have no chance, but then the post-board games are so much better, because you just have... your card quality is so much higher in the post-board games. So I guess they're going to bounce Clothis and go to 1. Sure. I mean, I can just fire them on my turn, so... They have to bounce Clothis, though, right? Yep. So their plan is to go to 1 and then counter the Clothis, but this just kills them, so... fetch a land to make sure we can't... Game should be over. Game is definitely over. Upstairs. I guess they could have... They could have Flusterstorm as their last card. I guess I'll play Clothis. They could have Flusterstorm. I should play around Flusterstorm. What I probably should have done was Clothis first. I'm in the same spot, right? If they have Counterspell, they counter Clothis. And then they can still Flusterstorm the Fire Ice. So it's kind of the same thing. Right? If they have a Counterspell plus Flusterstorm, they can get me either way. But it's one of those things where it's just, you know, you have an embarrassment of riches. As long as you don't... As long as your computer doesn't disconnect, you should win. Alright, opponent's fighting the good fight. 5 mana to Fairy Hero. Alrighty. Got it. So untap 2 lands, cast Verdict out of Clothis. Cool. Well, again, game number 1, kind of rough. We drew 2 dead Gons and just drew a bunch of dead cards. But once you get to the post-board games, you get to your card quality is a lot higher. And I don't know, maybe this matchup is closer than I think it is, but I still think it's pretty close. Anyways, 2-0. See you back here in just a little bit for number 3. Alrighty, YouTube, round number 3. Let's go. This hand's pretty good. So we can go turn 1, suspend Footfalls. Maybe they play some creatures that we can Fury Pitch Outburst, and then still have a Cascade spell on 3. So, I'm going to keep this hand. Alright, keep. Opponent has also kept 7. See what they're up to. Fisher's Bauble. Bauble no Lurrus, huh? You don't see that very often. Blue-red? Yeah, looks like blue-red. This Fury could be good. Especially if they lead on, you know, Ragavan and the Channeler. Then we can just go turn 1, suspend Footfalls, turn 2, Fury your board. If they play Ragavan on 1, I'm not going to just Fury it. Okay. So this might be a dash Ragavan type of game. Let's see what we got. It's an interesting one. I still think I'm going to suspend the Footfalls, though. It's definitely interesting to hold that up in case they have dash Ragavan. But I can just suspend the Footfalls on 1 and then hold it up on 2 after taking a single hit from Ragavan. I think you can generally afford to take 1 hit. Alright, opponent's got another Serum Visions. And they're passing. Okay. Force of Negation. Not too bad. I'm just going to play Tarn here because I kind of want to fetch a land. Kind of don't really want to draw any more lands. And we have a bounce spell to deal with Murktide. So our hand, the way that our hand is set up, we have, you know, a bounce spell to deal with Murktide. We have Fury Pitch Outburst to deal with smaller stuff, and then we have some Cascade spells. So kind of got a little bit of everything going on. So they're gonna cast Murktide here. Man, if I had a Borrower, this game would be basically over. Because I would just Borrower the Murktide on tap and slam a Cascade card. And that would be a little too much for them to overcome. Now the question is, do I just slam a Cascade card? They're at 14. Yeah, I can afford to take 6, right? So slam a Cascade card, pass. They either attack me for 6, in which case I just go to 10. They currently don't have Delirium. And even if they go spell into Unholy Heat one of my things, I can just force. Well, I guess I'm casting the Shardless, so I won't be able to force. Yeah, either way, I think I'm just going to play Shardless here. I think it's fine. I guess they could have Force of Negation, but the blue-red decks usually don't have Force. And go. There's also a line we could set up where we go Fury, pitch a red card, deal 4 to the Murktide, and then dead the Murktide. If we draw land, we could go dead the Murktide, Fury, pitch Pyromancer, and then hardcast Force of Negation on their counterspell. So that's also a line that might be available to us. But, I mean, if they just hold the Murktide back on defense, we at least have we have to consider something, but they're gonna go to 12? Deal. So now they have Delirium. I'm definitely gonna take 6. So I guess their intention is to Unholy Heat one of my Rhinos. Okay. Hmm. No blue card either, which is something to consider. Okay, let's just go to attacks first. I'm like fairly confident they're going to cast their Unholy Heat. And if they do, then I can just bounce this. Or potentially do the Fury Pitch Outburst and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think they have to cast the Heat in combat because I don't think they can afford to go to 2 given how many shocks I have. So they're going to cast the Heat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hardcast Force. And then I can go post-combat, get a basic Mountain, Fury, Pitch, Outburst, deal 4 to this, and then dead it. And then keep the Pyromancer as leftovers. Yeah, so let's do that. And they're at 2. Alright, so hardcast Force. They take 10. They go to 2. Only Fury went upstairs, huh? Alright, so let's crack this for a basic Mountain. Let's go dead this. And then Fury, Pitch, Outburst. The reason I'm pitching Outburst is because we have another Footfalls here, so I don't really need more Rhinos. I'd rather just, like, in the scenario where they go Heat, Heat, Bolt, kill my whole board, I just want some gas left over. But they have to literally have 3 removal spells, or, you know, removal spell blocker, or something like that, which is very unlikely at that point. So, clean sideboard here. We're going to bring in Endurance, Dispute, and Clothis, and we're going to cut Force of Negation. I guess we're 1 card over, huh? Because I usually cut these Prismari commands. I think I wasn't bringing in Clothis before, because it's on the draw against Dragon's Rage Channeler. It can get awkward sometimes. Let's actually not bring in the Clothis. But yeah, 7 for 7. Force Prismari command for Dispute Endurance. Clean sideboarding. Game number 2. This hand's kind of weird. So, we have a couple of Fire Ices, which deal with Ragavans. I think I'm going to keep this, but I'm not overly excited about this hand. I think it's okay on the draw. Alright, so they have Channeler. It's fine. Channeler is okay. Alright, play Foothills and pass, see what they do. I'm not going to Fury just the Channeler. Alright, they got a Bobble. So this might be a turn where they just hold up Counterspell. Alright, Bubble's fine. Except 1 damage. Okay, so they're going to Thought Scour. So they're going to try and make it more than 1 damage. Do I want to pitch cast Endurance? Not really, no. I'm just going to take 3. I think I might cast Fury, though. Let's see what we draw. They have 5 cards. Yeah, I think I gotta cast the Fury here. So let's go Scalding Tarn. And I'm gonna pitch the second Fire Ice. It's not even clear that the first one's that good. And what I want to do is go upkeep, fetch Steam Vents. I guess I could have played Island there. It's like not clear that I want to fetch yet, but... Alright, so kill that thing, and then I kind of want to ice them upkeep. I want to keep them off Iteration for a little bit. I guess I have to get a blue-green land, because I really need to be able to cast these Endurances. But what I should have done was play Island, because if I get Breeding Pool, I can cast Endurance, but I then can't cast Pyromancer. So what I'm trying to do is set up... So, like, imagine this scenario, right? I'm going to ice them here, okay? I'm not going to cast Fire, I'll tell you that much. So I'm going to ice them here. Now, if they have a fetch land, they have the ability to play Murktide Regent, but do they really want to play just a 4/4 Murktide Regent? Probably not, right? So I guess now they could play a 5/5. I still can't really afford to pitch cast this Endurance. Okay. They don't have a land, which is good for me. Because now I just get to slam this Endurance. Main phase while they're tapped out. I don't want them to be able to counter it. And now they can't even cast the Murktide. That was a good exchange. And they definitely do not have a Thought Scour because they would have main phased to just try and hit a land. So now they have no way to Murktide. I mean, I guess they could have an iteration here, but it seems like they don't. And now we can just pass with all our mana up the entire time while having a second Endurance. And they're eventually going to have to do something. So it's a good spot to be in. Pass the turn. Alright, we're going to let Thought Scour resolve. And then I'm going to cast another Endurance. Again, I'm just trying to keep them off as many cards as possible. I could wait to see if they have another Thought Scour, but if I do it on their upkeep, they could just counter the Endurance, which kind of sucks. So I think I want to just do it while they're tapped out. I also just want to resolve a 3/4. You know, just a 3/4 on this board is pretty good when they have nothing. Just try and get them dead. Just kind of press your advantage while you have it. So they go to 9. Do I want to let them counter the Pyromancer? Yeah, I think that's fine. I assume they're going to counter this. Like, them countering this is fine, because then I could just exile it next turn, get some value out of it that way. And they're still nowhere near Murktiding. Like, what are they going to do? Cast Iteration and just kind of time walk themselves? They can't do that. I mean, obviously, they got mana screwed, so that's, you know, unfortunate. But I like our positioning in this matchup post-board when you get access to, like, Endurance is really good once you've gotten to 3 mana. Now, I will say that there's going to be some games where Endurance is really awkward and you feel pressured to pitch cast it early to prevent them from casting Murktide. Which you almost saw happen that game. You know, there was that one turn where I had the opportunity to pitch cast the Murktide when I iced them and they upkeep the Bolt. If they had a land, they could have played a 5/5, which would have not been good for me. But you kind of just have to be a little bit more patient and treat Murktide or treat Endurance as a 3-mana spell. Don't treat it as a pitch spell. Anyways, 3-0. See you back here in just a little bit. Round number 4. YouTube, here we are. Round number 4, 3-0. See if we can keep it going. We're not keeping anything going with this hand, so we'll take a mulligan. No Cascade spell, but we do have a suspended Footfalls on turn 1. Yeah, I guess this hand's fine. Put back a land on the draw, because I'm going to be cycling Fire Ice on 2 most likely, so I think I can get greedy and ship a land on the draw. Uh-oh. Amulet of Vigor. Well, turn 1 Footfall's not the best against Amulet, because you usually don't have time for that in this matchup. But it's what we got. So, here we are. I think this matchup is pretty bad game 1, but you do have Force and Blood Moon after sideboard, so game 1 might be a little rough, but games 2 and 3 should be pretty favorable. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen an Amulet deck. I wonder what happened to Amulet. I guess Unholy Heat happened to Amulet, huh? Everybody started playing 1-mana Terminate for your Primeval Titan. It's probably not where you want to be when everybody has 1-mana answers to Titan. So I have 2 options. I guess I have 3 options. What I could do, I could just kind of shove here. I could go Fury, kill the Azusa, and then when they go to Titan me, I could ice the Titan. But how am I beating it once I ice the Titan? Because they're going to go float a mana, get second Amulet. They have a bounce land in hand that we know about, so that's 1 mana floating. 4 off the bounce land is 5, plus 6 is Titan. So I could just... Well, I think what I might want to do is kill the Azusa and then just hope they don't have a Titan. That might just be my best line. Just, like, fire the Azusa and pass. And then next turn, if I'm somehow not dead, I can go Fury, deal 4 to the Titan, shock the Titan, blow up the Amulet. Yeah, I like that, I think. This is unlikely to be good enough, but I think this is probably my best line. Alright. Well, seems like they have the Titan. Not that I'm surprised, but I think I had to play as such they didn't have it because I assume I'm dead regardless, if they do have it. No matter what line I take, I think I can't beat a Titan. This is... It might not be lethal. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... Oh yeah, they just go Vesuva double strike land, right? 4 mana and then double strike it. Well, I'll make them do it. I believe I am dead. Yeah, Vesuva copy Garrison plus Sunhome should be lethal. Because then they get to untap the Vesuva, 4 mana, activate the Stronghold, or excuse me, the Sunhome, double strike their 10 power Titan, and that's 20 damage. Hey YouTube, I don't know what just happened there. I had to sideboard really quickly, so I lost internet. Apparently we took lethal. In the middle of taking lethal, I lost internet. And when I came back, I had like 10 seconds to sideboard, so I sideboarded very quickly. I may not have sideboarded correctly. I cut 4 Furies, 1 Prismaric Command, 1 Dead Gun, 1 Murktide, and I boarded in 4 Force of Vigor, 3 Blood Moon. I'm not sure if that's right, but again, I only had like 15 seconds to sideboard, so I just wanted to make sure I got the Forces and the Blood Moons in. So we're going to play first. And... Alright, this hand's really good. We got a Force of Vigor, we got a Fire Ice, we got a Borrower, we got some Cascade spells. This hand is quite good. Again, I think my general philosophy of before was that I wanted to be cutting Force of Negation against them. So it's possible I'm supposed to board that out over Fury, because Fury can still hit Dryad and Azusa. But... Ooh, Blood Moon, you don't say. Alright, I'm gonna ice them because I want to cycle and try and find land drops. So we're gonna get a forest, and I'm gonna ice them. I want to hit my land drops. I want to try and cast the Cascade spell. All that jazz. Alright, Sanctuary. Really need to hit a land drop here. Really need a land, please. Any land. Force of Negation. It's not a land. Okay, your turn. Well, at least I'm happy that I didn't sideboard on a land. 3 mana Dryad. Okay. Let's see if they have a basic. I'm going to end of turn bounce the Dryad just to get a little bit of a tempo swing. Need to find a land, though. Land, please. Okay. Now the question is, do we Agent or do we Blood Moon? It's actually kind of close, I think. Because if I Blood Moon and they have Force of Vigor, it's pretty bad for me. And I'm 90% sure they can't Titan anyways. I don't think so, right? Even if I Shardless, it's pretty hard for them to Titan through a Force of Negation and a Force of Vigor. This is really close. Although, at the same time, if I Blood Moon... Yeah, because the problem with waiting on the Blood Moon is... If I wait and they just get to play Dryad, I'm then in a spot where I can't remove the Dryad and also play Moon. So, like, imagine this scenario. I go Agent, they play Dryad plus land or whatever. I think I'm going to let that go. Yeah, I'm going to let that go. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like... I think this ends up being a better position for me. Although maybe it ends up being a little bit worse if they have the Force of Vigor here, but... I think it's a lot safer to cast the Blood Moon there. This feels like one of those things where something could definitely go wrong. I mean, I guess now they can get a basic Forest and play the Dryad, but I have Force of Vigor for the Dryad, plus, you know, Borrower, all this stuff, so... Alright, they have Dryad. They have Fountain. I think I'm just going to kill the Dryad now. Yeah, attack for 10. Yeah, just kind of chill here. Attack for 10, hold up, Force Pitch Borrower. They're at 14. If they have explosives, we have the Force for it. We have another Dryad. But that should be okay, because we can just end of turn bounce the Dryad. What's this? Explosives. Well, we have to Force Pitch that. But now they get to resolve a Titan, maybe? Resolve a Titan at 6. Might still be good enough. I think I have to fight over that. I don't think I'm gonna let that resolve. Do they have another one? They have another Dryad. Okay. Yeah. This might not be the best spot for us. Attack for 8. I assume they're going to double block a Rhino. But, like, they double block a Rhino... Oh, they don't. Okay. So they take it. Now they're at 6. They play Titan. I still don't really have good attacks. Maybe the turn that I cast the Force of Vigor on the first Dryad was a little aggressive. But I didn't want them to untap with a whole bunch of green mana. So that's kind of why I chose to do it when I did. But... yeah, now we're just in a really bad spot. I'm sure that I messed this game up. I'm sure that I was probably not supposed to cast Blood Moon when I did. I probably was not supposed to cast Force when I did. And I'm sure that I probably would have won this game if I had taken different lines on either of those turns. But here we are. Okay. So we can ice the Titan to push in some damage, which is actually pretty good because now they can't set up a double block on the Rhinos. So now they actually have to go to 2, right? They have to go chump, eat the Shardless, go to 2. Or they go chump, chump, go to 4. And either of those I think I'm happy with. Because if they go chump, eat, go to 2, then I have all the shocks as lethals. Okay. So this way they go to 4. They maybe just have another Titan? So then they just go play Titan, pass. Block, block, still dead to a 2 damage spell. Also dead to fire. Or Brazen Borrower. Okay. Yeah, I messed this one up pretty badly. I think the Blood Moon turn was okay. The turn that I cast Force of Vigor, that was really bad. That I think I should not have done. Alright, well, they're Hellbent, so... it doesn't kill them. Do I cast it now? No, because it just puts them to 1. I think that's kind of pointless. I'm just going to pass. Guess now if they draw Force of Vigor... Nah, Force of Vigor doesn't kill me, right? Because they can kill the Blood Moon. Alright, they drew a land. So that should be good. Cool. Well, I definitely navigated this game a little bit poorly, but did not get punished. Alright, game number 3. Now we actually get to sideboard where I have some time. I do think Force of Negation is not where I want to be. So, let's decide what we want to keep in. How good is Fury against them? I think Dead Gone is excellent. Bouncing Titans and kind of getting some good time, some good tempo swings there. Not in love with Prismari Command. Maybe I do like 3 Fury, 2 Prismari Command? Let's try that. I think I like that. The way that looks. Force of Negation, the problem with Force is the best target for Force of Negation is their Force of Vigors. But you're never going to be in a spot where you're casting Force of Negation on their Force of Vigors because you're usually tapping out for Blood Moon, and if they have the Force on the spot, then it's like that's not really how the cards line up that well. Alright, so are they keeping... I want to keep this hand. They kept... This hand's like really leaning heavily on Force of Vigor, hoping that it does something. I'm gonna try it. I don't know if this hand's good, but I want to try it. Okay, well, they can have that. They can also have that. Alright, no reason to cast the Force now. I can just wait until their upkeep. Alright, so let's do this. Pass. Let's go Force Pitch Force. I think the Borrower's not bad either. They have a Stronghold. Steam Vents. Turns out that we kept a hand that was really good against their hand. Kept a hand that was reliant on Force, and their hand was, so far, seemed pretty weak to Force. See how this kind of materializes. We got a bounce land. Teleria West. Alright, we can just keep fetching non-basics because we have one of each basic in our hand. That's all that really matters. Seasoned Pyromancer. Alright, well, let's just jam a Shardless. Put the pressure on them. See, if they have the explosives, then, you know, that kind of stinks, but... Azusa. Okay, so pick up Teleria West, replay it. Pick up Forest. Okay, and they're going to pick up the Sanctuary. So they have Forest Sanctuary and likely Primeval Titan in their hand. That's an interesting draw. So I'm just going to attack for 10 and then hold up Outburst. If they go for Titan, I can probably just EOT Outburst, untap, bounce Titan, and have lethal. Or, like, if they have an Amulet, then I can bounce the Titan and maybe present lethal that way. But, yeah. Okay, so their plan is to transmute for explosives, and then pop explosives for 0. But that's fine, because the next turn we'll have 5 mana to be able to go bounce a Titan, hold up Outburst. Because they're going to have to pop the explosives now. So this is actually totally fine. Yeah, they get the explosives. We're going to let that resolve. Not that big of a deal. It buys them a turn, but, you know, we're okay with this. So I imagine maybe they just don't have a Titan. Because they probably would have gone for a Titan if they had one, I think. Alright, so we attack for 10. They're going to pop the explosives. I'm going to let that happen. They're not going to block. And I am not going to cast the other Outburst. We'll just put them to 10. Or put them to 8, excuse me. And just hold up our mana. Hold up Petty Theft plus Outburst. I have to imagine that should be good enough. Alright, Pact is fine. So, cast Titan. With a white mana floating. Titan resolves. So they're going to get the land that comes into play and gives them mana of any color. I forget what the name is. And then Tolarian West, maybe? What's that card called? Crumbling something? ETB tap, when it comes into play, make a color of any, or make a mana of any color. It's Crumbling something, I can't remember the name of it, but they're going to get that. Radiant Fountain, huh? Okay. Do they have a red land in hand? This one, Crumbling Vestige, that's what it is, okay. But this is fine, because now we just Petty Theft the Titan, and then cast an Outburst. And that should be lethal, right? No, I guess they go to 2, right? So I guess it's not lethal. I guess they're not dead. Alright, so they play that. Pick up Tolarian West. Sure. No attacks. No attacks. Alright, cast the Violent Outburst. Cast the Footfall, so they're dead to any 2 damage spell or a Petty Theft. Not dead to a Footfalls. I am going to cast the Pyromancer main phase, because again, ice kills them. I think these Rhinos are kind of dead at this point. That also probably should kill them. Well, yeah, because we know they're just dead, right? Because they have a pack to pay for. And if their last card is Force green card, then they force pay for packs and have nothing in hand. So, yeah, the Blood Moon should seal it. Well, it will seal it if they have Pact, or if they have Force, then they have nothing left, so. Alright, seems like we are about to be 4-0. Cool. So, that was the Amulet match. Yeah, I think, again, game 1, kind of rough. But once you get to the sideboard game with Blood Moon and Force of Vigor, pretty good. We're doing okay. So, 4-0. You know what that means. We're going to play for a trophy. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 5. Alrighty, YouTube. Well, Rhinos is still great. Let's see. Here we are, 4-0. Let's see if we can get a trophy. It's time. Alright, we're on the play, and our hand is basically perfect. So, I'll keep. Turn 1, Breeding Pool, suspend Crashing Footfalls. Turn 2, probably get a basic Mountain. ice them, turn 3, get a basic island, cast Violent Outburst, and we'll go from there. God, this deck is too good. Alright, opponent went to 6. This deck is really good. Haven't really gotten to showcase the power of Seasoned Pyromancer all that much. There's been a couple times we've drawn it and it's been okay, but for the most part, you know, it's like kind of sort of an afterthought. It's a fine card, but we haven't really gotten to do a ton with it today. So, let's see if they choose to fetch. They did. Love it when they fetch. You gotta love it when they fetch. The lesson to be learned here: if your opponent suspends a Crashing Footfalls, just don't crack the fetch land. Just leave it uncracked. Very important lesson to be learned here. You can just crack it next turn. It's fine. Alright, with drawing that, I do want to get a red source here, so I'm just going to get Stomping Ground. Play Shardless. If they have main deck Flusterstorm, then I guess it's kind of a beat, but they usually don't. Alright, cool. And now we're in that position where they're the ones who have to act. Again, we played against Blue-White earlier, and this exact same situation came up. It's like, once you have the initiative and your opponent is forced into a position where they have to act into your cards, that is so much better for you than the alternative. Because their deck does not play very well when they're the ones who have to, you know, react to what you're doing. Or once you've established a board, I guess I don't know how I'm trying to explain this. Like, I know what I'm trying to say, but, you know. Spreading sees my red source plus Prismatic Ending. I accept. I accept. Alright, so we'll attack for 6. I'm not going to main phase the Outburst because it's just really bad if they have Verdict, so. Attack for 6, pass. We have the initiative, we just get the hold up all of our mana and wait till they do something. I could have iced Upkeep, but I kind of want them to cast Verdict here. Kind of want them to tap out. I guess maybe I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe icing was good. But I am going to cast Outburst DOT because it is a must counter. Alright, let's cast Crashing Footfalls, which they're going to counter. Counter Bounce Rhino? Seems like counter Bounce Rhino. Okay, it's fine. They're going to go to 10, and we're going to get another Crashing Footfalls, so yeah, annoying, but not the worst. Still miles ahead. Land's actually really good. Is it? Sort of good. I don't want to cast the Pyromancer anyways, because I want to ice them. Yeah, I'm just going to pass. I'm going to pass an ice there. Mystic Gate, I think. I'm going to try and cut them off of casting Verdict this turn. Okay, not too bad. Let's see if they have a white source. They have Teferi. Alright, they do have the white source. Yeah, if they have Verdict here, maybe it's a little tougher for us. Alright, so I can respond to that and go upstairs loot, probably? Yeah, let's go upstairs loot. 2 damage, draw. So 2 damage, draw cards. So I kind of don't want this Fury. And I certainly don't want any more lands. So Fury can go, and I guess the second Pyromancer. Just keep a split. So they're going to go bounce Rhino, pass. And then we have lethal if we draw a shock, 2 damage spell. Which we did not. I do kind of have to kill Teferi here. I can't let them go Teferi hold up Verdict. So what we're going to do is go Shardless at Teferi, Rhino at them, and then just pass with all of our mana up. We have the option to exile Pyromancer from our graveyard. We can Petty Theft plus Brazen Bar if we need to. But we got plenty of options. Alright, given that they're doing this, I'm just going to use all of my mana in Pyromancer. Yeah. This way, if they have a 4/4 Shark Typhoon, this is still representing lethal, because they go 4/4 here, take 4. Let's go to attacks, and we also have the Petty Theft for the Shark Typhoon, so... They have to have Cryptic here, I assume. Right? It's Cryptic or Bust, I think. Maybe Snap Cryptic. Okay. So now we can just go Petty Theft this. Which I guess they just countered this, and then go to 2. Okay. I'm still going to shove here. Because then I'm just going to play a Pyromancer and still force them to have Wrath. So they go to 2, play Pyromancer. Okay. We have 1 Crashing Footfalls left. But yeah, they still need Wrath. And the nice thing is, even if they have Wrath, we just have 2 Pyromancers chilling in our graveyard. So that's why Pyromancer is so good in this matchup. This is... It's funny how we were talking about this earlier. I know I was saying that we haven't really seen how good Pyromancer is. Well, this is definitely a matchup where it is a 10 out of 10 for sure. Alright, what do they got? They got 5 mana. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. We can beat that. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Okay. Guess they could go plus hold up Cryptic. Tucking my 2/2. And Prismatic Ending? Okay. Force of Negation. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can just go kill Tef, play Shardless Agent? Yeah. Attack both at Tef. Because if I'm going to cast Shardless Agent, there's no difference between them at 2 and them at 1. So, and they have 0 cards in hand. So they have to literally draw exactly Supreme Verdict to even be in the game. And then they're drawing Supreme Verdict, and they have nothing left, and we still have a Pyromancer, so... And the reason they have to draw Verdict is because we have Force for anything else. So I can't imagine them clawing their way out of this one. I've seen weirder things, but... They definitely can't castle, which they realize. Alright, they're dead. Game number 2. So against Blue-White Control, we're going to do the similar thing that we did the last time. Clothis, Dispute. I think we said we didn't like Endurance. Definitely did not like Fury and Dead Gone. I think we did 2 command, 2 endurance. I believe that is what we settled on, and I think I still like that. Let's do that. Alrighty, YouTube game number 2. We have a hand that we're definitely not going to keep. So we're going to take a mulligan. Yeah, not really loving going to 5 against blue-white, but I don't think I can keep this hand either, so we'll go to 5. And this hand is playable, although not very good. Playable, barely. I always wonder if I should be bringing in Blood Moon against these decks. I feel like nobody ever plays around Blood Moon. Like, none of the blue-white players play around Blood Moon post-board. But they do have a lot of basics in their decks, so, you know. They also have a decent amount of non-basics. Maybe on the play I should try it. Alright, let's ice them. Mostly just a cycle. Really? Shark Typhoon for 0, huh? Okay, okay. I accept. Let's ice their Trio. Maybe they can't cast a spell now. Okay, drawing a land's not bad. It's not a green source, but drawing a land is not bad. I am going to let that resolve. I generally don't like fighting over chalices early. I'd rather just try and play a game of Magic around the chalice with, like, Endurance and Seasoned Pyromancer and Murktide Region and all this other stuff. Like, you have plenty of ways to beat a chalice in play. Could run out a 3-mana 2/2. I don't love that. I'm just going to pass. I'm going to play this weird Drago game where both of us are missing land drops, and I'm going to fight over card draw, which I don't usually do, but with them missing land drops, I don't mind fighting over card draw. Alright, pass the turn. We just need to find a green source. Green source and we're chilling. Green source and we are chillin'. Alright, they're fetching here. Which seems to me that they're going for a Teferi, maybe? Wow. Just firing off a Jace, huh? Well, I'm happy with this exchange. Not a green source. I'm still just going to hang on to the Shardless for now. We'll pass the turn. Can hardcast a Force here if they maybe go for another Planeswalker. I'm very surprised they just went for that Jace there. Very, very surprised. Cool. Alright, your turn. And they're on 4 cards. I think if they do nothing, I might wait a turn on the Endurance. Because I want to go Endurance plus Hardcast Force and not have to pitch. Yeah, that's perfect. So now we can just pass. Like, I'm so comfortable playing Drago against them, especially with Seasoned Pyromancer. Like, we'll eventually draw a Pyromancer and just have a lot of gas that way, and... Alright, see if they let this resolve. I assume they probably fight over it. Maybe they don't. I guess this kind of sucks if they have Shark Typhoon, which is a card they definitely could have, but they cycled one pretty aggressively on turn 1. Alright, I'm going to fight over this. Let's just get a Stomping Ground. Let's fight. If they fight back, I don't think I'm going to pitch a Shardless to fight, but maybe. Nah, I think that's bad. Mystical Dispute. Okay, it's fine. It all happens. It's all fine. Interesting. They're on 2 cards. Do we think they have another counterspell? I guess the other question is, do I think I'm going to get a better opportunity? I think I might not be able to get a better opportunity, so let's just do this. White, blue, Dovin's Veto? Think I'm just gonna pass now. They're only on one card. Yeah, well, I'm down with this. Thought about playing a 3-mana 2/2 there, but yeah, not really in love with it. Just force whatever their last card is. Now that they're on 2 cards, now I think I'm going to EOT the Borrower. Now I think I'm going to EOT the Borrower, because I kind of want to fight over it. Ugh, their last card was Shark Typhoon. That's so bad for me. Yeah, that sucks. So now I think I have to bounce the Shark. Do while they're tapped out. And then I can EOT the Borrower. And you're calling it too? It's not great. I don't know why I suspended that. I probably should just play Shardless. I'm probably going to play Shardless anyways. Yeah, that was dumb. Three mana 2/2. Your turn. Yeah, them having this exact card as their last card is pretty unfortunate. I think if it was anything else, I might have been okay. But yeah, like literally anything else, I think would have been fine. Just exactly Shark Typhoon was kind of a beating. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass. Yeah, alright. Seems like we're gonna go to game number 3. Okay, we'll just go to game 3. They seemed that they were fetching basics pretty aggressively around Blood Moon, so I'm not going to board it in. I like the way I sideboarded. Let's go. YouTube, game number 3. All the marbles. Let's go. We're not going to do anything with this hand. Okay, this hand's better. I'm going to put back Endurance, I think. The intention of just suspending Footfalls on one. Yeah, like this. We'll ship the turn. If they play a Chalice on one, don't want to counter it, but... Okay. I'm going to fetch because I don't really want to draw any more lands. Be really nice if they just didn't play anything this turn. Because once we get to a spot where we can just hardcast Force into hardcast Force, I think I like our position at that point. Alright, good. Them doing nothing this turn is good for us. Like, specifically not playing a Chalice is really good for us. That wasn't bad either. I'm actually going to save that, though. I'm going to save that for the turn that for next turn when this goes to 1. So it's more likely I win a fight over Footfalls on my upkeep. Yeah. Yeah, we're just going to play the Drago game. Kind of want to draw a land here. It's not bad, too. So now... I'm still not going to cast the Ice. I'm going to wait till their end step, because the thing about casting Ice here is this is the turn that I want to cast Ice. However, if I cast Ice in their upkeep, I then can't hardcast Force on Chalice. So I'm going to wait till end step to Ice them. Yeah, I like this a lot. And then we can try and... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was good. Because now we can try and fight it. We can just fight over this Footfalls. Not if they have Dovin's Veto, I guess, but... It seems like they do have. Okay. Dovin's Veto resolves. I could main phase the Outburst. Which is good against everything but Verdict. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm down. With 3 forces in my hand, I think I like main phasing this. Sucks against exactly Verdict, but we are pretty good against most everything else. And I would just rather not, like, given that their only land on tap was Mysticate, I'd rather just not try and fight over, like, counter spells on their turn. Because I can just blank their counter spells by doing it this way, you know. Because now maybe they don't have land 5 and they have to, like, Tef with a mana up, which I can just snap force it. And I think this just puts us in a much better position by main phasing it. Again, one of those things that you just gotta find your spots, you know? That's what this matchup is just picking your spots. Seems like they don't have a verdict, because they probably would have just slammed it by now. Maybe it's a fairy. Alright, let's exile, I think, Fire Ice. And they have 4 cards left? I mean, I don't think they have Verdict. They would have just played Verdict, I think. So what I might do is just force, pitch, force, and then slam Murktide. I find it hard to believe they wouldn't just... That's a turn they wouldn't cast Verdict. So I don't think I'm going to play around Verdict. Yeah, if I get Verdicted, I get Verdicted, but... I'm fairly certain they would have cast Verdict if they had it. Alright, your turn. It's possible that they would have waited a turn on the Verdict, but I don't think they would have. Alright, opponent did have the Verdict. I guess I had the wrong read. I mean, I don't know. Thought I played this game pretty well. Alright, your turn. Yeah, it's a little upsetting, but... I thought I played this game pretty well. I think I had the right read. They had to have just run Verdict, so I personally can't imagine them not casting Verdict last turn. I think that's a little crazy, but... 6 mana. I'm going to save the command, try and find a reasonable spell. Or just, like, start looting away lands. You found a Shark Typhoon, too? Alright. Three. Alright, yeah, I'm done. I've had enough. Little bit unfortunate. Personally, I am fairly convinced that they drew that Verdict, because I think they would have played a little bit differently if they had it, but again, I think I'm fine with the way I played that game. I'm not that upset over it. But deck was really good. Seasoned Pyromancer is awesome. This is still, I believe, the best deck, and you should play it if you want to win. I do very much believe that this is the best deck in the format right now. And I don't know, that last match was maybe winnable if I maybe sequenced a little bit differently, but kind of had, it's one of those things in Magic where you have a read and you stick to it, and maybe sometimes your read is off. But overall, was pretty impressed, pretty happy with the deck, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it all the way to the end, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.